Now, I want to take you back to a room. I'm 14 years old. I'm in my first ever careers counselling session. And a woman across at me, she looks at the desk and she looks at me and she says, I think you should be more realistic. So I just told her that I was going to be a professional rugby player, play for England, win the World Cup. My two idols at the time were two guys called Johnny Wilkinson and Dan Carter, two legends of the game. My whole childhood was built around this one thing. And she's just told me to be more realistic. So I got up, I walked out, and there's something about that sentence that just didn't sit right with me, you know? And I couldn't explain it at 14, but I think I can explain it today. Now here's something I've noticed about people, about us. We are world class at imagining when things go wrong. Right? We play the worst case scenarios over and over again in our heads, 24/7. We catastrophize failure before we've even started. But we never catastrophize staying still. We never ask the question, all right, what does my life look like in 10 years' time if I just don't try? We never sit with that cost of inaction. We just stay, and we call it being stable, being sensible. Now that, I would argue, is the more costly mistake. Now I grew up with one dream, one very clear dream: pro rugby, England, World Cup. That was it. It was all based around that. That was my everything. And I want to be clear about what that dream actually cost me. I was the uncool friend, right? Friday nights, Saturday nights, all the friends, all the boys would be going out, and I'd be at home, in bed, ready for training the next morning. Every decision I made when I was growing up ran through one filter. Is this thing that I'm about to do going to make me a better rugby player? If it was yes, I'd do it. If it was no, I wouldn't do it. Very simple. And it didn't feel like a sacrifice as such. Actually, it felt pretty easy. Because when you're that, when you're not locked into something, the distractions, well, they stop actually feeling distracting. They stop looking attractive. I chose my university because it had the best rugby program. Not the best academics, although it was very good academically, but that's not why I chose it. Not the best social scene, but the best rugby program. And it worked. I got my pro contract. Tech. I got my pro contract, right? Everything was going to plan. Everything was looking good until it wasn't. 3 knee reconstruction surgeries, 4 years in and out of rehabilitation, a pro contract that was very nearly coming to an end, and a whole new chapter in France already lined up, pro rugby in France, and then COVID comes in and stops the whole world. Then Hong Kong. All right, well this time it was semi-pro, that's okay. Even just for 1 year, I told myself, 1 year, the world's going to open up, I'll go back home, and I'll keep the dream alive. I'll keep playing professional sport. 3 concussions, a few pretty serious trips to hospital, and a conversation with myself that I've been putting off for a while. I was 26 years old, and my rugby career was over. My main identity was gone. And what came next was the corporate world. Investment bank, Web3 startup, tech education company, and I want to be clear about what this last one did to me. It wasn't that the work was hard. It wasn't that the people were not nice people, they were really nice people. It was something a lot more subtle than that. Every day, I'd wake up, do my training, go to the office, open the laptop, have a coffee, but I'd have this very specific kind of dread. A dread that another day didn't matter. And I knew, and I genuinely knew that I was capable of a lot more than this. And that's not an arrogant thing. Please don't take it as an arrogant thing to say. I think we're all capable of so much. It was just in a, this can't be it kind of way. I come from a world in rugby where every day had a purpose. Every session was building towards something bigger. It was building towards my dream. And now I was just sat there on a laptop, filling time, building someone else's dream. And the thing that really broke me, it wasn't the job itself. The job was actually a pretty good job, if I'm being honest about it. It was a pretty good job. It was that I knew what I was missing out on. I knew what it felt like to wake up in the morning with that fire in your belly. To want to go to work, to want to get better, to build your dream. I knew what that felt like. I had it in rugby every single day. And now I couldn't find it anywhere in this job. Anything that I was doing, I couldn't find it. Now the weird thing was, right, I'd get home from this job and it would be like 8 p.m, 9 p.m, 10 p.m. You know what Hong Kong culture is like, work culture is pretty intense sometimes. I'd get home, I'd open up the laptop, I'd get the filming equipment out or something like that, and I'd start writing scripts, I'd start filming content or recording a podcast. I had such little time. Everything that I was doing was squeezed into the edges of the day, the late nights, the early mornings. But I felt more like myself in these moments that I had all week. I was exhausted, I was knackered. But I finally found something that gave me a similar feeling to what I had when I played rugby. And then one day, I get home from the office, I open the door, unmotivated, dejected, I walk in, and my wife said something to me that I can never unhear. She said, "It's breaking my heart seeing you like this every day. It's breaking my heart." Now, I've been seeing a therapist at the time, and I told her everything that I just shared with you, by the way, and way more. She gave me this exercise. She said, "Right, Pete, okay, I want you to go away, and I want you to describe your dream day." Okay, I can do that. No, not your dream holiday, your dream average day, your dream ordinary day. Don't give me 50%. Don't give me 75%. Give me your absolute 100% dream day. Okay, all right, I understand. I can do that. So I went off that afternoon, pen, diary, and I went to the nearest Starbucks. And I sat there by myself, phone on silent, and I opened this up on a blank page. Hours I was sat there, just staring at this blank piece of paper, not knowing what to write, until finally I managed to put some thoughts on paper. And it was pretty messy, this is what it looked like, until finally I was ready to write down my dream day. But before I did that, I wrote one sentence. "This is my day if I wasn't afraid." Here's what I wrote for my dream day. I wake up early, I go training. That's a non-negotiable. Go to the gym, running, swimming, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm training in the mornings. I take my kids to school. I don't have kids at the moment, but in my dream day I've got a family and I take my kids to school. I come home office, or go to my office and I work on my business. I build my content, I work on my podcast. Maybe I train again, pick the kids up from school. Then we all go back home, we have dinner as a family with my wife, we spend time together. And then I go to bed that night, excited to do it all again tomorrow. And once I'd written that down, I put my pen down and I looked at it. And I thought to myself, that's not that different to what I'm currently doing. It's not a million miles away, you know. I was living most of what I'd already written down. I was living in the same city, I had the same beautiful wife, I had the same group of friends, same morning routine, I was still training. The main thing that was missing was what I was building in the business I was right? What I was working on, my projects. And it all became very clear to me after that. After that exercise, a few days later, I quit my job. No backup plan, no plan B. One of the scariest things I've ever done in my whole life. But I had this resounding thought in my head. If not now, when? If not now, when? Now I want to talk about failure. Because I think we've got it all wrong. I did 12 years in pro sports, and it taught me a lot about myself, about life, but it taught me one thing and not everything else. Failure is a feedback loop. Failure is a feedback loop. Every session was some form of failure that I would do. I'm sure a lot of you guys and girls, you go to the gym, right? If you want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, what do? You lift until you fail. You lift until you can't lift anymore. That's where the growth happens. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't picked on the weekend. I failed so much that it stops feeling like failure. It's just information. And that's why I love sports so much as well, because you have so many opportunities to pick yourself up, go again after failure. Use that information. Use that failure. So when I sat down to make this decision about quitting my job, I did what I'd always done. I ran the worst case scenarios. Alright, so this is a real conversation I had with myself, right? Okay, Pete, so quit your job. You're going to quit your job. Okay, cool, quit my job. 2 years, you're going to give it 2 years. Alright, cool, I can do that. Nothing works, nothing happens, you fall flat on your face, all your savings gone. God, okay, pretty intense 2 years, but fine. Alright, what do you do next? What now? Alright, well, I guess I'll go get a job, right? Probably go back to the corporate world and go back to doing what I was doing before. Hang on a sec. So the worst possible scenario was going back to do what I was already doing. How crazy is that? We spend so much energy imagining how badly things can go wrong. We forget to ask what staying still costs us. Inaction feels safe, right? It's invisible. No one wakes up in the morning and announces to the world, right, today I'm not going to try. Today I'm not going to try. But those days, they add up. Just like the days when you decide to try add up. It compounds. But one day you look up, years have passed. You're still in the same room, you're still being realistic. That was over a year ago now, that I quit my job and had that conversation with myself. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that everything's worked out and it's all sunshine and rainbows, because it's not, and it never will be, whatever path you decide to choose. But every night now when I go to bed, I have this feeling that today was mine. I decided what I was going to do today. I wasn't waiting for someone else to give me permission to matter. That feeling right there is worth more than I can explain in any talk to you today. Now I want to take you back into that room again. Right? So 14 years old, career counsellor, and a woman that's just told me to be more realistic. Now, I think you can probably guess by now, but that conversation, I've thought about it quite a lot over the years. And I don't think she was a bad person. She probably wasn't a bad person. And she definitely has no idea of the impact that she has had on me. She was probably just trying to protect me from disappointment, from failure. But she was asking me to catastrophize my ambition before I even started. And the world does this to us all the time, you know. All the time. Be sensible. Be realistic. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to take that risk? We listen. We listen because failure is terrifying. And staying still, it doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't feel like anything at all. So here's what I'll ask you to do. Tonight, before you go to bed, write down your dream day. Who are you with? What are you working on? Where are you living? What does your morning look like? What does your evening look like? What does it feel like when you go to bed that night? You might be pretty close to what you wrote down, just like I was. You might be a million miles away. Both are absolutely fine as well. I walked out of that counsellor's office when I was 14 years old. It's because something told me that betting on yourself was always going to be worth it. And I still believe that. Don't forget to catastrophize the best possible outcomes as well. So why not bet on yourself?